Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about old Russia, Tsarist Russia, and I'm going to be showing you some artifacts. These are actual bills from Tsarist Russia. This is a 25 ruble note, and as you can see it has a picture of Tsar Nicholas's father on the front. There's a watermark right here that has this same picture. Here's the back of it. This is dated 1909. As you can see, this note is in very good condition. It's very large too. I'm going to show you a comparison with the size of an American $5 note. As you can see, it's very large. The money in that time period was often large like this. Here's a 3 ruble note from 1905. You see the old Tsarist coat of arms here, which was similar to the Prussian one. And here's the back of the note. Now here is a 5 ruble note from 1909 in the back. And finally, there's a 10 ruble note. And this is from 1909 in the back. Now, for the rest of this review, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Mystery of Anastasia. In 1917, after World War I had devastated Russia, Vladimir Lenin and a group of Bolsheviks decided to wage the Russian Revolution and to oust the royal Tsarist family. Here's a picture of the Tsarist family. And then sitting in the middle, of course, is Nicholas Romanov and his wife, children, and there's Anastasia right there. Now, interestingly, Nicholas's wife was the granddaughter of Queen Victoria of England. At the same time, Kaiser Wilhelm of Germany was the grandson, and the King of England was also the grandson. So World War I was actually waged by first cousins, which added, I guess you could say, a lot more cynicism to what many decided was a very unnecessary, ridiculous war fought by elitists who were, and I hate to use this word, but some people refer to World War I as a, quote, pissing contest. And I apologize for that vulgarity, but that is probably the best way to describe it. Now, back to Anastasia and the Romanov family. Some people believe that the Romanovs were misled because their spiritual advisor was this man, Gregory Rasputin, called the Mad Monk. He was a very strange Greek Orthodox monk who in a lot of cases supposedly had inappropriate relations with the Romanov girls and the wife, yet he had a strange influence over Nicholas Romanov and gave him terrible guidance, which possibly led to Russia's involvement in World War I, and which also may have just created the discontent that led to the 1917 revolution. That's a good picture of Anastasia right there. She is, of course, the very famous and the subject of the legend that Anastasia survived the massacre of the Romanov family. So let's talk about that. After the revolution succeeded, the Romanovs were placed in house arrest. And here's a picture of them in house arrest in Siberia. As you can see, they're dressed like peasants. Now, what to do with the Romanovs was the big question. It's not known who issued the order, but on July 19th, 1918, one awful morning, the Romanovs were quickly hustled down into a cellar. They were lined up in chairs, and they were shot with pistols under the order of a Russian officer named Yurovsky. And the next photograph I'm going to show you is a little bit scary, so I'm going to warn you. But this is a photograph of the cellar in the aftermath. And as you can see, the damage from the volley of gunfire was very severe. It actually took chunks of the wall off. So, after the shooting was finished, the firing squad checked the bodies with bayonets and rifle butts. And then the bodies were set on fire, and all of the personal effects were dropped in acid. Now, in Berlin, a few years later, a young woman named Anna Tschaikovski was pulled out of the water in the river, apparently after a suicide attempt, and when she regained her consciousness, claimed that she was Anastasia. Now, of course, many people doubted her claim because there was a $4 billion inheritance that was moved to Western banks that she stood to gain if she was indeed Anastasia. So she went through a lot of testing and Romanov family members. Some claimed that it was her, and others claimed it wasn't. She did have some similarities to Anastasia. Visually, they looked very similar. She had some scars that Anastasia had. For instance, she had a scar on her hand that was inflicted by a coachman who slammed a door on her. And that story was corroborated by one of the servants. One of the cousins of the Romanovs claimed it was her. She also had wounds consistent with gunshots. And her story was that during the assassination, she was shot and wounded. But when the firing squad realized that she was alive, they decided they didn't have the heart to kill her. And they smuggled her out, and she actually lived with the family of one of the firing squad members named Tchaikovsky, and eventually married him and had his child. So, now, the question is this like the Disney movie, or the animated movie, or the Ingrid Bergman movie? Was she really Anastasia? Well, it's been established, supposedly, that the remains of Anastasia has been found, that there was no way she survived the assassination. I really don't know, but I do know by looking at that picture that it looked like a pretty thorough execution. And I have my doubts that there really was, that Anastasia survived that. I think the Romanov legacy ended there in that cellar in 1918. And sadly, Anastasia and her whole family were probably killed. Rasputin was substantially killed later. He was captured by a Russian prince and shot, stabbed, and drowned and poisoned. And it took a lot to kill him, but he was actually killed too. So that ends the legend. In my personal opinion, I think that Anastasia died. I don't think that she survived that. But it is an interesting story. And so you can make your own opinion on that one. Anyway, I know this was kind of a grim video, but I thought it might be interesting, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to make more like this. So until next time.